Everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 41 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series of All the Mods 8, where today I have a plan to do... I think this is really the main one I need to chunk load, but I'll chunk load that one as well, just to be safe. I was working on getting ready for some bee-related things, because the next task for me that I've been kind of working on in the background here is the Dragon Soul, and there's a few things we need to do to get this. We got into Ars Nouveau as a beginning, so we're probably close enough to get this. We have some Dragon's Breath, we have Piglet Hearts, obviously. The Inactive Dragon Egg was the next one I was going to look at, and that's actually probably relatively easy to get going, but I have to see. Yeah, we're going to need this centrifuge. I should have that to mind to do this. Powered centrifuge. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the powered centrifuge, I guess. I'm not sure what the heated one does, but I guess we'll find out. But then, as that was happening, I decided to check in on this thing. We had a little bit of radiation in the chunk, so I shut down my reactor, and I figured out why. We backstuffed on nuclear waste, which is the problem. And then I basically idled for a few hours so that the radiation would go away. And then I came back to start recording. So radiation cleaned up, went away on its own after a time. And basically what happened is when this guy has a backstuffing of waste, the heat trigger doesn't go off. There is an excess waste trigger, but I'm finding it not to be reliable. So what I decided to do is we've got a radioactive waste barrel here to hold the waste. When it gets full enough, I have a redstone signal going up to disable the logic. So right now, if I try to turn on my reactor, it's going to fail because it's getting a redstone signal back here. Okay? So now we need to clean up the nuclear waste and figure out why we backstuffed on it. And the main answer to that question is we don't have enough fluorite. My PRC guy here stopped making polonium pellets because we don't have any fluorite dust. That said, I probably have enough fluorite right now, and I'd like to work towards antimatter. Oh, and this keeps happening in this chunk, and I have no idea why. Is it just this chunk? Yeah, it's for whatever reason, this chunk has some kind of lighting issue that has shown up in the last few episodes, and I keep ignoring it and have no idea. Usually what I do is this, and then this. And I've done this a few times, as the episodes, but I have no idea what's going on in this chunk that all of a sudden it thinks that it's, got a darkness issue. Something's weird there. But yeah, so long story short, that's a thing that's happening. I'm probably out of food because of all the idling I did. Yeah, we should probably go fill up our meat feeder, huh? Is that enough? Could probably be better. Why don't I do that? And I assume that you will then be filling up. Nice. Okay. So yeah, let's get to what I want to do today, which wasn't going to be this, but is now because we're having a waste problem, and I want to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. I want to get into the SPS. Because A, we need lots and lots of antimatter for our endgame stuff anyway, and B, it will consume the polonium without needing fluorite. So let's do it. So I need to teach you how to make SPS casings. So clearly we have the stuff for most of it. I think this should be relatively easy. I might need to knock out a few more plutonium. I'm actually not sure how much of each number we need. And we need some reactor glass. I think we have some of that, right? Cool. Give me like another 2 stacks of those if you don't mind. And then a supercharged coil. I remember needing a few of these as well. So let's get them cooking and ready to go. So I'm going to put all you guys in here. So actually I might as well keep that supercharged because we need, it says at least one of those, so I think that should be fine. We're missing a laser, which I'm going to go ahead and be ready to make anyway, only because we may need that for fusion. I don't know if we have to do fusion in this pack, but we'll find out, right? Cool. So that'll get that cooking, which I assume shouldn't be too long of a process to spin up. Yeah, just a few things. Nice. Okay. And then the SPS casings, we need We're going to need 3 ports, and we're going to need 60 casings. So it looks like we have the stuff, which I'm all about. Looks like we are good to go on plutonium and polonium. Now, we may need more of it in the future. We'll deal with it when the time comes. Cool? So there's our 3 ports. Hooray! Supercritical phase shifting. This doesn't seem safe. It's safer than backstuffing nuclear waste, he said knowingly. Okay, so I'd like to keep it within this chunk if I can. So this works by... We need the polonium. So... we're going to need to move this polonium. Because I'm going to need a pipe in between them, aren't I? Or what I could do is I could get another solar neutron activator. Yeah, why don't I do that? That'll probably be the safest approach. I think that's the play. That's how we do that. Okay, and then we'll pop it here, and then we'll tube it up, you know, like so. Cool. And then we'll see if we can keep this SPS within the chunk. So I have to remember how to make this thing, but the basic gist of the frame, and I'm going to try to keep it cool, but let's keep it within this chunk. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2, 3. 1. Like that. Okay. And then we'll get some reactor glass, which I got a bunch of, remember? And we'll fill this in. See what I mean about the weird connected textures issue? I don't know what that's all about, but there's something weird with connected textures going on. I don't know what, but it's weird. And then it should be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's about what we should be looking at. And then outside of that will be you. I've gotten better at making these off the top of my head, but I'm not perfect at it. So I'm going to finish this off camera and come back when it's ready. Cool? All right, I hope I pulled this off correctly. Hey, supercritical phase shifter. Nice. Okay, cool. And then you, can this go anywhere? Good question. Yes? Beautiful. Cool. So then this goes here. Okay. Then my solar dude, solar neutron activator, can chill here, right? And then he will start doing that, and then he will start doing that, and then he will start filling up. Nice. Okay. Now, inside this bad boy, if I remember correctly, we're going to want basically a power port with one of these on it. And that's all she wrote. And then we should be getting antimatter. Yes? We just need a flux point. Okay. And then you are probably starting to drain, which is good. But we want to sleep through that there night. So let's do that. And I'm pretty sure we're going to want to disable any kind of limit on this bad thing. Why are you not formed anymore? That's an exceptional question. There we go. Sweet. So now we're turning polonium into antimatter. And we can probably bring that volume down a little bit. So this is something I needed to do anyway, right? So now that we're draining nuclear waste, we will now start draining this nuclear waste. And as this drains, this number will start to drop. So that if I flip that lever, oh, that's not good. Today I learned that's a thing. Okay. So let's do... that. So that we can still have our lever here. Look, Dyer never pretended to be good at vanilla redstone. And now you can run again. Beautiful. Okay. Now what I also wouldn't mind is that. So he retained his antimatter. Cool. Okay, now antimatter needs to go into the form of antimatter pellets. So we're going to need a chemical crystallizer to make that happen. And we're a little short on fluorite. So, you know, we'll see what happens. That's the next problem I'm going to have to solve, because that's part of the reason that this whole thing backstuffed on nuclear waste, is we were basically out of fluorite, which is not great. But for now, I want, you know, a good healthy bit of this polonium turning into this stuff, because antimatter takes a good minute or so. So chemical crystallizer, once we get some more fluorite, we should be cool. We have a little bit of this stuff, so how about /home it up? And you can export bus fluorite. Does that sound cool? Okay. And then if I go back, we should have this guy ready. Okay. We're missing some of this stuff, huh? Alright, we'll deal with that in a minute. To do automate that thing. But the gist here will be, I believe it's a gas antimatter. So if I configure you for gases in on the top, and then if we set you up to extract that gas, now our antimatter is going in here. And then we just need some power. That'll work, right? And then we could have functional storage drawer here, and then you will side config output auto eject for items. So chemical crystallizer will turn antimatter into antimatter pellets, which will be dumped into the drawer. Deal? Works for me. Cool. All right. Now, what I would probably like to do is hold off on any more polonium production. So I'm going to make you a normal redstone signal. So now nuclear waste will build up in here, and we'll stop using fluorite to make this polonium stuff. And the other benefit of this is this knocks this whole thing out of the picture, right? Like, we no longer need to worry about that, because the polonium turns into antimatter with no spent nuclear waste, which is awesome. Right, so we'll be able to make this stuff again in the future if we have a need for it. I don't know that we do yet. We'll find out. And now we don't have to worry about waste building up. But if it does build up, it'll shut off the reactor and we'll be fine. So there's your SPS build up and running. So that checks that off the list. Now let's get to what I meant to get to today, which was bees. So if we go back home, I want to show you where I got my bee from, because I have a bee, and it took me a few minutes to figure out how this works. But let's pop over to the end portal and see what happens. Cool. For some reason, this will take a while, but I bet there's a named dude who showed up. Okay, so I had to flip through the big book of bees to find mod bees. No. Professional bees? No. Solitary bees? Wild bees. Draconic bee. Rarely found living in obsidian pillars on the main island in the end. Draconic bees pollinate by flying around in the end, collecting nectar from the air. They will also nibble on dragon eggs if they get the chance. Alright, calm down, Mr. Apotheotic Box. I get that you're a thing, but nobody cares. So what I want to do is get myself an obsidian nest, which is just a block of obsidian plus a diamond sword equals obsidian nest. Okay. Then you place that near the pillar, and you'll see on the tooltip at the top, nest is empty. Use a honey treat on it to attract a bee. So I've got honey treats, which should be pretty easy because it's just, you know, honey, comb, and blocks of honey. They're very loud and rude, these guys. I don't know why everything feels so loud to me today. So you use that on there, and then it takes 1,200 seconds, which is a lot of seconds. Luckily, I have a solution for that problem. And then we can get our bee cage and pick them up, and we'll feed another one in there. Cool? So this is just 4 bottles, of which I have quite a few. Now, where'd he go? He went all the way up there? So this is what I did off camera was for the first one that I got. Because it took me a good little bit to figure out this is the process to go through. I was expecting the obsidian nests to have spawned in here, and that is not how it works. So now that I have a few of those bees, let's pop home. This is the part I'm also not sure about. If I throw down an advanced... See, this is the reason that we don't have a problem with bees. And glass bottles. I told you I idled for a while. This is not the first time I did this. Okay, and then the same deal for you guys. Now I'm questioning whether I want them to be near this bee setup or somewhere else. I could put them elsewhere. Like maybe I'll put them over here just to be a little bit separated, because I don't want them sharing their hives, I don't think. It's called an advanced hive, right? So we need a regular beehive. Then we can get an advanced beehive, which needs a campfire. And some kind of shears. Sure, mana steel shears. Okay. And then there's an is it expansion? Is that what it's called? Yep. Cool. And then if I just put a dragon egg near it, is that enough for you guys to pollinate with? I guess we'll find out, right? They seem to like it. And then the question is, will you produce the draconic comb? So there's a 40% chance to produce it, apparently, in an advanced beehive. And remember, there's those upgrades we could apply, too. Oh, look, he looks pollinated. Now, where do you think you're... Oh, good, you went in here. Well, one of you was smart. Maybe. I don't know where you're going, buddy. But you should be, like, going in here, right? Stop going into the ocean with your pollen, and maybe go into the beehive for the bees, where you belong. Good news is about to get dark, so maybe they'll be like, hey, can you maybe go in there? Thank you. Don't be dumb about this, bees. I mean, I could put them inside a box or a cage of some kind. Pollinate and make things for me. That's one way to do it. I just want to see it make one, and then we'll be able to basically just let them be. All the bee puns today. That's how it works. Oh, I got an Enderman spawn egg. Neat. Remember, I have capturing on my blade, so that's a thing that can happen. Did we lose a Draconic Bee already? Did I get 4 or 5 of them? I thought I got 5. I have a lot of time on my bottle, so, you know. That's cool. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see if they do the thing, right? Hoping they will. Oh, yep, they popped out. And hey, look, Draconic Combs. Nice. Okay, cool. Quest completed, Draconic Bee. Nice. All right, sweet. Productive bees. Draconic Bee. Okay, so these things can make Draconic Comb blocks, or they can turn into, via centrifuge, Draconic Dust, Wax, and potentially honey. And then the Draconic Dust turns into Draconic Chunks, and then that turns into an inactive Dragon Egg, or the productivity upgrade, so that's cool. By 140%. Does that mean more than double? That's what it should mean, right? It should, like, 100% should be double, so 140% should be almost more than double. Guess we'll find out. And then the inactive Dragon Egg, well, one is how you make the heated centrifuge. I don't know in what way that's good, but it looks endgamey, so that's cool. Or the Dragon Soul. So let's start with the regular centrifuge. Does the book tell me like how the heated centrifuge is better than others? If we look at blocks, centrifuge, nope, not really. It is from the same mod, though. So I'm going to go with powered centrifuge. So let's go centrifuge. Unless it was in there and I just didn't notice it, which is 100% possible. But I didn't think I saw anything that indicated. And then powered centrifuge. That'll work. Because we can autocraft those guys. Powered centrifuge takes RF to run and increase processing speed. The centrifuge is also used to separate genetic material from bottles and material on the genes. Yeah, nothing about the heated one, though. So we'll just stick with powered. You can chill there. We need some more of that flux dust. How about obsidian and redstone? I should automate this, but, you know. And it needs to be a flux block under it or bedrock, right? Do I have potentially the chance to make that? No. So we should probably go down to bedrock and do this. But I should get a flux block so that in the future I don't need bedrock for this. Cool. So quick run down into the basement to the bedrock. And then I'll put the flux block in my basement somewhere where it's safe. Okay, so your bedrock, you can go there. Boom, boom. That works. Flux block, I'll plop you, how about right here? Works for me. And now I can get a flux point. And that feels pretty good. And then if we need to automate that, we will. Shouldn't be hard to automate, honestly. And then I assume you're not showing your RF going in there, but that's okay. You do show a connection. Does it have to go on the front, maybe? Oh. Nope. Nope. It's, unless we're out of power, which is, I guess, possible. We'll find out if you... Oh my goodness, we are out of power. You know what I bet it is? I bet it's the polonium. Could it have drained it that fast? I thought my battery was pretty full. No, we are good here. We have a max. We hit the. So we didn't run out of power, but we did max out our output. We did max out our output. Let me go check in on that polonium producer dude. Because if I remember correctly, he doesn't scale properly the way he should. Are you going to keep up with polonium? You have a net gain there. What if I made you 1.6 million? Do you have a net gain still? No, you have a net loss. Okay, cool. So we'll stick with that. Because he doesn't self-throttle. So he'll use whatever power you throw at him to convert his stuff. So I'll stick with that number. It's more than I need, but as a reminder, when it's dark out, we don't produce this, so it's going to build up a buffer. And when that buffer builds up at night, we want it to burn through it faster than we would otherwise. Cool. Because we need to burn through the buffer and the production that's made during the day. All right, let's come back in a sec. All right, so now I'm trying this simulator upgrade, which I can't quite figure out how it works. So simulator upgrade was not hard to make. Usable in expanded hives. When installed in a hive, bees will no longer come out of the hive. Their flower trip will instead be simulated for better server performance. The bee's flower block or feeding slab with flower blocks must be placed at the front of the hive, not blocking the front, but right below that. Oh, okay, cool. Because that was not on the tooltip here. It just said in front of the hive. Okay. Not blocking it, but one below that. So the book had a little bit more information than I needed. Let's rotate this guy. So let's try putting it here. Right? And then tick accelerate? Because I've been tick accelerating this to see if it's gonna work. No idea if it will, but we'll find out. Because this way, I think the tick accelerating would also affect their going out thing. Oh, look, now it's working. Nice. So that's what it has to be. Okay. Sweet. Look at that go. That is cruising. I love it. That is super good, actually. I am 110% down. Also, the huge benefit of them not flying around and getting lost can't be overstated. So I think what I'm going to do is get one more honey treat and go get myself one more bee, because it looks like, I think we lost one at some point. I thought I got 5, but you know what? My brain's not been working right today, so it's 100% possible that I only got 4. Let's honey treat you. Yeah, I'm going to run out of time in a bottle time real quick if I keep doing these 256 speeds, but I'm also impatient. And I've been idling a lot in this series, so I don't mind too much. Oh, and by the way, you can totally insert the bee like this. Cool. Neato. All right. So we'll let those guys do their thing. Maybe what I should do is grab a functional storage drawer here with a gold upgrade and a void upgrade. And then logistical transporter, so I'll get the fast one. Is 4 good? I would think so, right? And we'll see if that's sufficient. And you'll be able to hold up to 8,000 of each of these. So that's pretty cool, actually. I'm down with that. So let that chill, and it'll do its thing. Works. And I could put more upgrades in there if I deem necessary. But at this point, I don't deem necessary. Cool. I like it. All right, let's come back in a sec. All right. So now that we've got this thing cooking. And is this chunk loaded, by the way? It is not, but it could be. Nice. Now that this is cooking, and we don't need this dude here anymore, so we can move him. And... nice. All right, so let's wrap up here. We'll come back next episode. And let's see. So in theory, I'm going to call this complete. Because all we need now is to combine those chunks that we're getting and the dust to get with an egg, and then we're done. So done, done, done. Probably done, probably done. Got to get into occultism. And I'm thinking I want to go through the Twilight Forest. Because getting the Snow Queen's head will probably be... I need 2 Snow Queen heads? Killing me, Smalls. Maybe. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I do have an arc and a poison guy. What do they do again, if I'm looking at these? So the poison arc increases damage dealt by 1 when poisoned. You know what? I really don't care. Do I? No. And the other one, because I'm never poisoned. Right? Or hardly ever. Wasn't there a thing that I have? Yeah, this one, right? So we're actually kind of close to the second item that we need. So let's come back next episode. We need to get into cultism. And yeah, we're not actually that far off. Because we can make this relatively easily. I just need to do a Willed and Tribute, which shouldn't be too hard. For now, Darwell20 sign off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We will come back next time to, hopefully I might be able to knock out occultism to the point where I can do what I want to do. And then we'll be good to go. Sound like a plan? And then we'll move on to the next item for the ATM star. For now, Darwell20 sign off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.